Welcome back to my YouTube channel, as today we begin an incredibly deep, richly layered, and emotionally charged journey into the world of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar coin, a shining modern golden dollar tribute to one of the most beloved and influential presidents in American history. And from the very moment you hold this coin in your hand, you feel the unmistakable weight of history, honor, tragedy, hope, and legacy surrounding the life of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, whose charisma, leadership, and tragic end have made him a timeless symbol of American courage, ambition, and idealism. And as we explore this coin in its full historical and numismatic detail, it becomes clear that this is far more than a modern collectible. It is a miniature monument to an era defined by bold vision, powerful speeches, national transformation, and the unforgettable promise of a brighter future. When the U.S. Mint released the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar in 2015 as part of the presidential dollar program, excitement surged instantly across the numismatic world because, unlike many earlier presidents in the series, Kennedy occupies a legendary space in American memory, making his coin one of the most anticipated and emotionally meaningful entries in the entire collection. And the moment collectors saw the obverse portrait, they recognized the powerful intention behind the design: a strong, confident, youthful profile of Kennedy facing forward into the future, a symbolic representation of his leadership during a time when America was redefining its place in the world, pushing scientific boundaries, reshaping civil rights, and navigating Cold War tensions with intelligence and steady resolve. The sculpted portrait on the coin captures his familiar hairstyle, sharp jawline, piercing eyes, and calm expression, features that millions of Americans watched closely during television broadcasts in the early 1960s. And the portrait itself speaks to the boldness and style of the Kennedy era: modern, forward-thinking, inspiring, and undeniably American. On the reverse, the majestic Statue of Liberty rises strong and unwavering, symbolizing freedom, opportunity, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the nation Kennedy served. And the relationship between the forward-facing presidential portrait and the towering statue on the reverse creates a powerful artistic duality. One side reflecting leadership, the other side representing the ideals that leadership was meant to protect. The edges of the coin feature the inscriptions 2015, E Pluribus Unum, and the mint mark, all applied through the edge lettering process that makes the presidential dollar series uniquely collectible. And these edge inscriptions are not printed lightly. They are struck into the coin through a separate step in the minting process, which is why collectors pay such close attention to the edge and why so many valuable errors come from imperfections in this step, whether missing edge lettering, weak inscriptions, doubled letters, or edge misalignments that make certain coins exceptionally rare. The coin itself carries the iconic golden luster created by its manganese brass alloy, a composition shared with the Sacagawea and Native American dollars, but with its own subtle tint, sometimes brighter, sometimes warmer, depending on the condition of the planchet and the environment in which it was stored. And Kennedy dollars often develop a beautiful golden champagne tone, sometimes with soft amber shadows around the edges, making high-grade examples visually striking. Minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, this coin was also produced in special satin versions for mint sets, which have smoother surfaces, enhanced details, and a refined visual texture that many collectors prefer. And these satin coins tend to achieve higher grades more often because their finishes avoid the contact marks and bag chatter that regular business strike coins suffer from, especially since presidential dollars were shipped in large bags, allowing coins to hit each other thousands of times before ever reaching collectors. The release of the Kennedy dollar marked a turning point in the presidential dollar program because many collectors who previously ignored the series suddenly returned to it, driven by their admiration for Kennedy's legacy. And this renewed interest brought new energy to the series, pushing collectors to assemble full sets, search roll quantities for errors, and submit coins for grading, which is why the Kennedy dollar has some of the strongest grading demand among all presidential dollars minted. The emotional power behind Kennedy's image is unmatched, rooted deeply in major historical moments such as the Cuban Missile Crisis, the founding of the Peace Corps, the strengthening of civil rights initiatives, the acceleration of the space program with the dream of landing a man on the moon, and the global shock following his assassination in 1963, an event that forever changed American culture and solidified Kennedy's place as a symbol of hope and unrealized potential. And because this coin carries his name and portrait, it naturally carries the emotional and historical weight that collectors treasure. This emotional connection also fuels long-term value, because coins tied to highly admired presidents tend to survive longer, be preserved better, and gain greater numismatic respect over time, similar to how the Lincoln cent, the Washington quarter, the Jefferson nickel, and the Kennedy half-dollar have achieved enduring popularity across generations. The John F. Kennedy presidential dollar sits comfortably in this same category. continuing to gain interest as more collectors recognize the historical significance of the presidential dollar series and the uniqueness of Kennedy's position within it. The powerful design, striking golden appearance, historical meaning, modern rarity factors, and growing collector demand all combine to make this coin one of the most important modern U.S. mint releases of the 2010s, and understanding this deep foundation is essential before exploring the advanced elements of rarity, grading difficulty, die varieties, and high-value errors that make the Kennedy dollar such a fascinating coin to study and collect. Continuing the deep exploration of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar, we move further into the fascinating blend of artistry, symbolism, national memory, and collectible appeal that surrounds this historically rich coin, beginning with a design evolution that honors the 35th President of the United States through detailed craftsmanship, as the obverse features a meticulously sculpted portrait of John F. Kennedy created by U.S. Mint sculptor-engraver Don Everhart, who captured Kennedy's confident and forward-looking expression that reflects the themes of renewal, progress, and leadership that defined his time in office, while the portrait itself stands out with crisp lines, refined contours, and a balanced composition that gives the coin a stately presence. And around this portrait we see the inscriptions John F. Kennedy, In God We Trust, 35th President, and the years 1961 to 1963, reminding collectors of Kennedy's brief presidency but powerful legacy, while the edge of the coin contains inkest lettering that includes the date, mint mark, and the mottos E Pluribus Unum and In God We Trust, giving this coin a unique multi-surface identity that has become a defining trait of the presidential dollar series. Turning to the reverse, we find a striking image of the Statue of Liberty designed by Don Everhart as well, presented in a bold and dynamic way that symbolizes the fundamental values of American democracy and freedom, and this reverse design ties the entire presidential dollar program together by using a consistent iconic symbol rather than individual president-specific imagery, representing the idea that every president ultimately serves the same nation built on liberty and unity, while the inscriptions United States of America and $1 clearly identify the denomination and national origin. Production techniques of this coin also add to its story, as minting began with specialized manganese brass-clad planchets that give the coin its distinctive golden color, a brilliant hue designed to make it stand out in circulation, although very few presidential dollars ever circulated widely due to changing public payment habits and the preference for paper currency, resulting in most examples being preserved by collectors in uncirculated rolls, bags, and mint sets, and the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced the majority of business strikes, while the San Francisco Mint issued polished proof versions with deeply mirrored fields and frosted devices that bring out the design in sharp contrast, giving collectors a high-quality option that enhances the artistic detail of the coin. While Kennedy is one of the most admired presidents of the 20th century, his presidential dollar is particularly meaningful because of the emotional weight connected to his legacy of national hope, the tragic end to his life, and his lasting influence on American culture through his speeches, civil rights efforts, and space exploration initiatives, and these emotional and historical connections make the coin much more than a simple collectible, transforming it into a symbolic artifact that represents the aspirations and struggles of a transformative era in American history, which is why many collectors keep the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar as part of their core sets, often placing it alongside the classic Kennedy half dollar to create a thematic tribute to his memory. And as the presidential dollar series continues to mature in the world of numismatics, the JFK coin remains one of the most popular among both new and advanced collectors due to its striking design, golden color, proof variations, limited circulation exposure, and the powerful legacy of the man it honors, giving this coin a long-term appeal that will continue to make it a standout piece in U.S. modern coinage for decades to come. Diving deeper into the collectible world of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar, this section focuses on the emerging rarities, condition-based premiums, special releases, and hidden factors that influence the long-term value of this golden-colored modern coin, beginning with the fact that although millions of these coins were struck, very few ever entered circulation due to the cancellation of large-scale public distribution, which resulted in most examples being preserved in high grades, creating a unique market in which condition, strike quality, and packaging form the main foundation of a coin's potential desirability. And when it comes to the highest quality examples, collectors primarily chase the Philadelphia and Denver mint issues graded MS-67, MS-68, and in extremely rare cases MS-69, as these top-tier grades gain value due to the difficulty of finding flawless surfaces on the metallic blend used for presidential dollars, a composition that can show marks, abrasions, and small imperfections even during normal mint handling, making pristine coins genuinely challenging to obtain. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint proof coins are another major highlight, with beautifully struck pieces featuring deep mirrors and frosty devices that enhance the portrait of Kennedy and the reverse Statue of Liberty. And proof coins graded PR69 DCAM and PR70 DCAM are heavily sought after by collectors who want the highest presentation quality, as perfect PR70 examples stand out, especially due to their laser-sharp detail and mirror-like fields that reflect the light in a dramatic way. And although these proofs are relatively common in raw condition, the perfect 70 graded versions carry noticeable premiums. Beyond the standard issues, some interest comes from satin finish and special strike versions found in certain mint sets, produced with a different surface texture that gives the coin a soft glowing appearance, making them visually distinct from regular business strikes, and these variations often gain attention among collectors who enjoy assembling full multi-finish sets for each president in the series. Another important value driver lies in the realm of potential errors and varieties, such as edge lettering mistakes where inscriptions may be doubled, missing, inverted, or weak due to misalignment during the edge inkising process. And because the Presidential Dollar Series relies heavily on this unique edge lettering stage, any disruption can create a collectible anomaly. Examples such as missing edge lettering have historically sold for strong premiums in earlier presidential issues, and while confirmed high-value errors for the JFK dollar remain relatively limited so far, collectors still pay close attention to rolls and bags searching for undiscovered anomalies, knowing that even a single dramatic error could significantly raise long-term interest in this coin. Packaging-based rarities also play a role, as unopened U.S. mint rolls, first day of issue sets, and specially labeled slabs from major grading companies often carry collectible value due to their limited release and direct connection to the year of issue, especially when combined with labels that feature Kennedy's name, presidential seal graphics, or commemorative branding that appeals to specialized collectors. And as the Presidential Dollar Series continues to age, the value trajectory of the JFK coin will increasingly depend on a combination of grade scarcity, proof perfection, error discoveries, and long-term nostalgic demand tied to Kennedy's enduring popularity, making this one of the standout modern coins that collectors consider essential not only for completing the series, but also for preserving a piece of American history tied to one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century. Continuing the deep exploration of the John F. Kennedy Presidential Dollar, this extended section focuses on the intricate motivations that drive collector demand, the subtle grading criteria that can dramatically shift a coin's perceived value, the psychological and historical influences that elevate certain examples above others, and the broader numismatic patterns that position this coin as one of the most popular modern presidential dollar issues, beginning with the undeniable fact that Kennedy remains one of the most iconic U.S. presidents, and his broad cultural legacy continues to attract not just seasoned coin collectors but also new enthusiasts who enter the hobby specifically due to his historical impact, which increases long-term stability for this coin's collectible market because coins tied to high-profile figures tend to maintain relevance across generations, and as collectors dive deeper, they often learn that the evaluation of this coin involves far more than surface beauty alone, since grading companies meticulously assess strike sharpness, luster quality, edge lettering precision, absence of bag marks, and the subtle presence of contact lines that can appear even during the minting process, and the difference between an MS67 and MS68, or between PR69 DCAM and PR70 DCAM, often lies in microscopic details that require professional evaluation, making top-graded examples inherently scarce and therefore more valuable. At the same time, the growing population reports from leading grading institutions play a huge role in shaping the market because when collectors see that only a limited number of MS68 or PR70 examples exist, demand naturally intensifies, leading to auction premiums and heightened excitement whenever a top-pop specimen appears on the market. And this scarcity-driven pattern has been observed across multiple presidential dollar issues, but the JFK coin stands out because collectors tend to prioritize presidents with significant historical influence, giving Kennedy's issues a competitive edge, and as attention grows, so does the search for unusual varieties, whether they emerge from slight die differences, edge lettering anomalies, planchet abnormalities, or striking mishaps. And even though this coin has not yet produced headline-grabbing errors like some earlier dollars in the series, collectors remain active in their hunt, keeping sealed mint rolls, bags, and sets as potential sources of undiscovered treasures, understanding that error discoveries often occur years after release. Another fascinating factor that supports long-term interest is the psychological connection people have with Kennedy's imagery, speeches, and legacy, which makes the coin more than just a collectible. It becomes a symbol of American history, a tribute to leadership, and a reminder of a transformative period in the nation's past. And this emotional connection is one of the strongest drivers of sustained collecting demand, especially among people who enjoy historical narratives behind their coins. And as the modern coin market evolves, The JFK presidential dollar is also influenced by the rising popularity of graded registry sets, in which collectors compete to assemble the highest-rated sets for specific mint marks, finishes, and years, and because registry competition rewards perfection. PR70 DCAM and MS68 Plus coins often experience dramatic price jumps, making them essential targets for advanced collectors. All of these factors combine to create a highly dynamic market environment for the John F. Kennedy dollar, one shaped by historical admiration, technical grading challenges, population rarity, long-term series completion, and the constant thrill of searching for potential errors, making this coin not just another modern issue but a compelling and historically meaningful centerpiece in the broader world of U.S. numismatics. Diving even deeper into the world of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar, this extended section unfolds the full landscape of rarities, advanced collector strategies, hidden value opportunities, and the subtle factors that transform an ordinary-looking coin into a prized numismatic asset, beginning with the crucial understanding that while the JFK coin was widely produced, the true value lies not in average circulation-grade examples but in the elite tiers of flawless condition, scarce production anomalies, and high-grade specialized finishes that collectors compete fiercely to obtain, and this competition increases every year as more enthusiasts enter the hobby and focus specifically on modern presidential issues, transforming the market into a fast-moving arena where the smallest details, such as flawless luster flow, pinpoint-sharp design edges, untouched mirrored-proof fields, and perfectly centered edge lettering, can carry enormous weight in determining rarity, and among the most sought-after versions, the brilliant proof strikes from the San Francisco Mint continue to dominate high-value interest because their deeply mirrored fields, frosted devices, and carefully treated dies produce a visually stunning finish that collectors love to chase in PR70 DCAM, a grade so difficult to achieve that even brand-new coins straight from sealed proof sets often fall short due to microscratches, microscopic dust particles, and tiny handling marks invisible to the naked eye. Which means that truly perfect proof examples remain incredibly scarce and therefore command strong premiums on the market. On the opposite side of the spectrum, seasoned collectors pay close attention to business strikes in MS68 and above, which are extraordinarily hard to find because presidential dollar business strikes typically suffer from bag marks, contact lines, and scuffs during high-volume mint handling, making any example that escapes the process with ultra-clean surfaces a rare standout. And beyond the grading realm, the most fascinating part of this coin's collectible journey emerges in the search for unusual variations and overlooked planchet or striking issues that may not have been officially cataloged yet but could surface over time as collectors examine more rolls and mint sets, because history has shown repeatedly that modern coins often reveal rare and valuable varieties years after release. And considering the JFK dollar's ongoing popularity, the chances of a major discovery remain strong, pushing collectors worldwide to carefully inspect their coins under magnification, focusing on the edge lettering for spacing oddities, missing segments, duplication, or misalignment, an area known for producing unique errors in the presidential dollar series. And while exploring these potential rarities, it becomes clear that the broader appeal of this coin also comes from the powerful symbolism of Kennedy himself, whose legacy as a charismatic leader elevates the perceived value of the coin far beyond its metal composition, weaving emotional, historical, and numismatic value into a single collectible that draws people in for deeply personal reasons, whether they admired his speeches, his presidency, or the enduring influence of the Kennedy family. And this emotional connection intensifies demand for high-quality presentation pieces, graded slabs, and mint-sealed originals, because many collectors want pristine versions that feel worthy of the historical figure they commemorate, which is why first-strike labels, early release designations, and premium holder slabs often experience significant demand spikes. Furthermore, as advanced collectors chase these rarities, registry set competition continues to heighten the stakes, rewarding those who secure top-pop coins. And when even a single new PR70 or MS68 Plus example appears in the population reports, market energy surges as collectors reassess their targets, often driving prices higher. All of these factors work together to build a compelling narrative around the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar, transforming it from a standard modern coin issue into a deeply layered numismatic pursuit filled with history, scarcity, passion, competition, and the endless possibility of new discoveries that make every collector's journey with this coin unique and thrilling. Continuing this deep exploration of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar, we now move into the realm of final advanced insights, long-term value expectations, major auction highlights, market psychology, and the hidden signals that experienced collectors watch closely to identify which coins will rise in importance over time. And one of the most crucial elements in this process is understanding how the passage of years changes the availability of top-grade specimens, because while the JFK dollar may seem plentiful today, the highest quality examples, especially flawless proof strikes and near-perfect mint-state business strikes, become increasingly scarce as sets get opened, coins get mishandled, surfaces get scratched during storage, and grading standards tighten. Meaning that a PR70 DCAM or MS68 that seems rare now could become significantly rarer a decade from today as the numismatic community absorbs the finest known pieces into private collections, reducing the number of coins still available on the market. And alongside this natural evolution, the series is shaped by collector behavior, with special attention given to overlooked coins that may not have reached their full recognition yet, because modern presidential dollars have a documented history of skyrocketing in value once collectors realize the difficulty of finding top-quality pieces, such as when certain early issues saw huge price jumps after population reports revealed extremely low numbers of ultra-high grade survivors, and the JFK dollar fits that same pattern perfectly, where coins struck exceptionally well, with full detail on Kennedy's portrait, bold edge inscriptions, and pristine fields, can instantly rise in ranking and demand. And beyond high-grade considerations, the error and variety segment continues to be the most thrilling hunting ground, where unusual minting accidents, mechanical misalignments, and rare edge lettering mistakes can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. And to identify these, collectors examine details like doubled edge inscriptions where letters appear shadowed or overlapped, missing edge lettering where the inscription never struck at all, partial edge lettering where only segments appear, and rotated edge lettering where the orientation is misaligned, each of which can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. And even more dramatic are striking anomalies such as broad strikes that expand the coin beyond normal dimensions, off-center strikes that shift Kennedy's portrait visibly, die cracks that create raised lines across the design, and struck-through errors where foreign material caused distortion in the relief, all of which are documented in the presidential dollar series and therefore entirely possible on the JFK issue. And while not every collector focuses on errors, those who do often uncover pieces that become legendary. And the prospect of such discoveries keeps roll hunters, set collectors, and error specialists deeply engaged as they examine every surface of the JFK dollar with magnification and proper lighting, knowing that the next big discovery can come from any mint-issued batch. And for those who prefer long-term investment perspectives, the steady and growing respect for the presidential dollar series strengthens the outlook for coins like this one because collectors increasingly recognize the historical significance, limited mintage period, and unique edge lettering process that distinguishes these dollars from other modern issues, leading experts to believe that interest will continue rising, particularly as younger collectors enter the market and seek modern, affordable, relatable coins tied to iconic American figures such as John F. Kennedy, whose legacy ensures that this coin will always maintain cultural importance beyond numismatics, and auction history already reflects this trend, with top-grade proofs and mint-state examples achieving impressive results, reminding collectors that any coin with exceptional surfaces, low populations, or standout errors has the potential to achieve much higher prices in the years ahead as demand expands and supply shrinks. And ultimately, all these factors collectively elevate the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar beyond its role as a simple commemorative issue and transform it into a powerful symbol of historical memory, modern minting artistry, and collecting passion, providing endless avenues for discovery, excitement, and value for anyone who chooses to explore this fascinating coin in depth, ending this detailed journey with a profound reminder that every collector's search, every magnified detail, and every carefully preserved coin contributes to the living story of the JFK dollar, a coin that continues to inspire enthusiasm, curiosity, and admiration around the world. And with that, we close this complete exploration of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar. Thanks for watching.